Hello and welcome to a new little series, tier lists. Everyone seems to be doing them at the moment. So today we are doing best players of the last decade, and I think it's a good way to actually express my footballing knowledge, which I brag. I'm quite smart when it comes to football. If I keep glancing down, it's because I've got my iPad here with all the information of the players that we've got, so I can talk you through my decisions and why I've put them there. So, without further ado, let's get on with the tier list. So, our tier list starts off with Spanish left back Jordi Alba. Now, Jordi Alba started the decade still at Valencia with another 2 years. But since joining Barcelona, he has won 5 La Liga trophies. He's won 4 Copa del Reys, 3 Copa Españas, 1 Champions League, and the World Cup in 2015, along with the Euros in 2012 and the Confederation run-up in 2013. He was part of a very, I believe, one of the greatest national teams ever in football. That Spain squad between 2008 and 2012. Again for Barcelona, he's been absolutely ruthless, and him and Dani Alves have absolutely revolutionised fullbacks. So for me, Jordi Alba is going to go in that 21 to 30. He may move down. I'm not sure yet. What we'll do is we'll fill them out and then we'll put them back in. We'll adjust them. He ended up leaving Udinese in 2011 to join Barcelona for a fee of around 26 million euros, which also had 11.5 million bonuses on as well. Looking through his stats here, he was very good at Barcelona, scoring 47 goals in 141 games. Remember, he was only young at the time, and to get adjusted in the arguably one of the best Barcelona teams of all time. He's quite difficult. He then made that transition into Arsenal, where he was one of, I think he was like Arsenal's marquee signing, one of their first marquee signings really. In his first season, he scored 25 goals in 52 games, followed up with 17 in 41, 30 in 51, and then finally 8 in 22 before moving to Man United. Now at Arsenal, he did play out on the wings, he did play behind the strikers, and he did play up front along with Olivier Giroud. Now, I think his move to Man United has really... Everyone can see that it was a decision that he probably shouldn't have made, because Man United were going through a transitional period since Alex Ferguson leaving, and in many ways they're still going through that now. I genuinely think he went there purely for the money, and it's backfired massively because now he is at Inter Milan, in which he's played 15 games and scored 1 goal. In his Man United career, he's played 45 games, which is a whole season, and scored 5 goals. I think one of them was a penalty on his debut. So for me, he's going to have to go in the 41 to 50, and he's going to be further down this list. Next up is Dani Alves, the Brazilian right back, who is arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, fullback in football history. He signed from Sevilla to Barcelona for approximately £30 million. He's had an incredible career. He's absolutely batshit crazy as well. Played 250 games for Sevilla, scoring 16 goals before making that transition to Barcelona. I don't even know why I'm mentioning Sevilla really, because he was at Barcelona throughout the last decade, but we may as well talk about the players anyway. Over the last 10 years, he has been the best right back in the world. Trent Alexander-Arnold is a very good right back, but he's only done it for 2-3 seasons. Dani Alves has done it for 10 plus. Not only that, since the start of this decade, he's played for Barcelona, Juventus, and PSG, and won things at all these clubs. So at Barcelona, he has won the La Liga 6 times, the Copa del Rey 4 times, the Champions League 3 times, the Super Cup 3 times, and the Club World Cup 3 times. Then he left to Juventus, won the Serie A and the Coppa Italia, before then leaving to PSG, where he's won Ligue 1 twice, the Coupe de France, the Coupe de France, and the Coupe de Ligue, along with the Trophy des Champions, twice, which we also won in our Honor Hunter save. Internationally, he has won the Copa America twice, in 2007 and 2019, the Confederation Cup twice, and the Youth Championship in 2003. He's won so many individual awards that it's just no point even saying. This guy is hands down in 11 to 20 because you think right back, you think Dani Alves. You know, what more is there to say about that? Next up is the Arsenal frontman Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who started the decade on loan at AS Monaco. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang then later joined Saint Etienne, and he was literally thrown into that team straight away, scoring a hat-trick quite early on against Lorient. He also scored half the team's away goals during the season, went on to be Ligue 1's top goal scorer with 16 goals. Then, obviously, later after leaving Saint Etienne, he joined Borussia Dortmund, and he was insane at Dortmund. Looking at his stats, he scored 141 goals in 213 games for Dortmund, and I can definitely say that is money well spent. Since then, he has joined Arsenal, and at Arsenal he has been insane. Arsenal do have a half-decent squad, they've just got absolute weak as piss defenders. And if they didn't, they'd be an absolute force. And in my eyes, Aubameyang can fit into literally any team in Europe. It could fit into Liverpool, Bayern Munich, Man City. It could fit into any team because he's just so adaptable to situation. He's really quick, even as a 30-year-old with a couple of injuries. He's really quick, he's strong, he's tall, and he's good at linking up with players. He can play off the left as well, which you have seen at Arsenal with Lacazette up top. So for me, I think he's going to have to go in that 31 to 40 for now, until we fill it out, and he could move up. We don't know yet. Next up is Gareth Bale. Now we all know about Gareth Bale. Made an absolute dream move from Tottenham to Real Madrid, where he's had a very mixed time. The fans seem to really dislike him, purely because he's so professional. Now in Spain, I feel like I'm bragging a bit, but when I lived in Spain, it's all friends, family, cohesive. So like you'll go on nights out, you'll go to cafes, and you'll spend time with your family and friends, which over in this country probably would be frowned upon, but in Spain that's actively encouraged. So Gareth Bale is a model professional. Yeah, he plays golf, etc. But he goes to training, he goes home, and he doesn't really communicate with his fellow teammates. He doesn't go on nights out with them, but neither does neither does Toni Kroos. He was the exact same, because they eat really late in Spain. They was eating 10:30 at night, which by that time professional footballers, you think they'd actually still be in bed, or they'd be out with their families. So he's a very good player in a very different culture. I think if he played in Germany, in Italy, he'd probably, he'd be praised the whole time. But because he's in a different culture, it's completely different. So they are going to target him. He won the Champions League for him. He won La Decima for them against Atletico Madrid a couple of years ago, and in fact, I remember his first goal for Real Madrid was against Villarreal. Now, me and my friend Craig watched this game. The ball was drilled across the post and he slid and he knocked it in, and we thought this guy's going to hit the ground running. And in theory, he actually has. I mean, if I scroll down here and I look at his stats, at Real Madrid, he's scored 105 goals in 249 games, which arguably is incredible for a right winger who's he's not always fit, fair enough, but I think that some of that is down to his mental state as well. But I mean, he is one of the best right wingers of our generation. He's quick, he's really strong, he's really quick. He's just got it all. I just think mentally, I don't think he's actually happy at Real Madrid. So for me, he's also gonna go in 21 to 30 for now. Next up is French striker Karim Benzema. He did start the decade at Real Madrid and he's ended it at Real Madrid, which is easy for us. I remember when he was at Lyon, he was the poster boy. He was the guy on the front of the FIFA covers in France, and he looked like he was going to be the next best thing. And arguably, he's a very good player. For Real Madrid, he's played 501 games and scored 241 goals. Now, if you take away the whole thing with Valbuena, which, I mean, doesn't need to be said anyway because this is purely football related, Karim Benzema was Cristiano Ronaldo's sidekick for quite a while, and he was unable to become a better player. So basically, his reach is up here, and he was playing down here, but Ronaldo was here. Benzema helping him was allowing Ronaldo to hit the peak. So Benzema sacrificed his ability to make Ronaldo better because it's Ronaldo, one of the best players in the world. But since Ronaldo was left, he scored 49 goals in 89 games, which is remarkable. So, he's very adaptable, just like Aubameyang. And if he has time, he's one of those, like, if you rush him, he'll bang it, he'll smash it in the corner. But if you give him time, he crumbles, which is very strange. So for me, Karim Benzema for now is going to go into the 41 to 50 list. Don't get me wrong, he's a very good player, but I think Aubameyang is way above where he is. Next up is Sergio Busquets, the anchorman in Spain and Barcelona's side. Again, he's basically revolutionised that holding midfield role. Who is it who said that phrase? Eric Cantona. He's the water carrier. He wins the ball off their attackers and he lays it off to the most special players in Xavi and Iniesta, and he lets them do their job. So it sounds so basic, but he's probably the best in the world at doing that. Now, he's been at Barcelona his whole career. He actually came through the B team in 2007 and has later gone on to play 593 games for him, scoring 17 goals. He's also played 116 games for Spain, which is remarkable in terms of international caps. He's just, you think holding midfielder again? He's part of one of the best Barcelona teams ever. So he's got to go in the 21 to 30, hands down. Next up is Casemiro, the Brazilian holding midfielder. He actually started the decade at Sao Paulo back in Brazil, before then being loaned out to Real Madrid B team, and then later that season playing a senior appearance for Real Madrid. Strangely enough about Casemiro, he did play for the reserves in a 4-0 win against Alcorcon at the Alfredo Di Stefano Stadium, and only a week later they made the move permanent. 4 years with the fee at $18.7 million. I don't know why that's in dollars, but okay. As soon as they signed him, they loaned him out to Porto a year later, where he played 28 games and scored 3 goals, before then returning to Real Madrid, and he's been an absolute stalwart in the side ever since. Again, he's... How would you describe him? He's a shithouse, basically. He gives dirty challenges and he crumbles like a bitch, basically. But, I mean, that's what South Americans do. He's a very good player. Don't get me wrong. Just the look on him does infuriate me. He's a good player, but I don't actually think he's done it for long enough yet. So for me, he's going to go in that 41 to 50. We have Spain's legendary goalkeeper Iker Casillas, and since he's just so good. He's been at Real Madrid since 1999 and left in 2015 to join Porto. Now, his career peaked in the noughties, yes, but obviously since then he has won the World Cup, and he was part of that situation with Jose Mourinho when he came in and he froze out Casillas and Kaká and brought in Diego Lopez, who's now at Espanyol. Unfortunately, Iker Casillas had to retire last season due to a heart attack, I think. And it's very sad for a man who's only 39 to suffer such a horrible thing. But he's the greatest, if not the greatest goalkeeper of all time. He's up there as one of the greatest anyway. And for me, he's just got to be in the 11 to 20 on it. Next up is Spanish midfielder Francesc Fabregas Soler, aka Cesc Fabregas. He started the decade at Arsenal for a year before then making his transition to Barcelona, Chelsea, and then Monaco. Cesc Fabregas for me is one of the most creative midfielders I've ever seen. He can make something out of nothing, basically. Now, at Barcelona, he played in the false nine role. He also did that in the Euro 2012 for Spain, where I don't think anyone had ever seen it before. Spain played Italy, and Spain named 6 midfielders and no striker. I think Cesc Fabregas then went on to score in that game. Yeah, he did score the equaliser in that game against Italy in Gdansk, and he made the harsh trip to Chelsea, which I think damaged his reputation with the Arsenal fans. But you can't deny he played in that deeper role at Chelsea, and he was phenomenal for their title-winning season. Highlight that sticks in my head was that assist he got against Burnley, in which Andrea Schürrle scored. Very good play back in the day, Andrea Schürrle. Fabregas I think he just knocked it through first time. I think it was first time. And then Schürrle just knocked it into the far corner. And no one ever saw that. No one ever saw it coming. None of the pundits, no one at home was watching and going, right, he's going to ping the ball to Schürrle there. He just does things so effortlessly. And that's why, for me, he's got to be in the 21 to 30 so far. This 21 to 30 is filling up nicely, mostly for the Barcelona players. So you're not going to like my choice of the next guy. So here we are, the Belgian goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois. I can't stand this man. I just don't think he's that good of a player. Yeah, Atletico Madrid, he was alright. But at Chelsea and Real Madrid, he was not that great. He's a very good. He's a very tall goalkeeper. On his day, he can be a very good player. But he just makes too many mistakes for me. He's too clumsy. And the whole thing that happened with, I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't think he's that good of a goalkeeper. His distribution's not great. His saving's not great. He doesn't rush out. And someone who used to play as a goalkeeper myself, I don't sit and watch videos of Courtois making saves to motivate me. I just don't think he's that good of a player. So for me, unfortunately, Courtois is in the 41 to 50. Purely personal, I can understand if people rank him higher. I just don't like him, so I personally do not. Next up is Cristiano Ronaldo, and do I have to say it anymore? Cristiano Ronaldo is in 1 to 10. He is one of the best players I have ever seen in my life. He is one of the best players that anyone will see in their life. He is up there with the Maradona, the Messi, the Pele, the Eusebio. you know, he's the epitome of hard work. He was just this young, skinny kid from Madeira who played for Sporting Lisbon. So Man United played Sporting Lisbon in a Champions League game, I think, and after the game, loads of United players turned around and was like, "We've got to sign this guy." So Man United then went out, I think, a season later and signed him for 12.24 million, which made him the most expensive teenager in football history at the time. He did actually request the number 28 shirt, which was his number at Sporting Lisbon, but they give him the number 7 shirt, the famous number 7 shirt worn by players like David Beckham, Eric Cantona, and George Best. Then he basically went on to develop. I remember a story. He asked Sir Alex Ferguson how he could make his legs stronger, how he could jump higher, and Sir Alex Ferguson said, "Put weight in your bags, put weight in your boots, whatever," and it just evolved from there. A lovely relationship between Sir Alex Ferguson and Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, Ronaldo was he is Real Madrid's best ever player. In his career at Real Madrid, he's played 438 games and scored 450 goals. The least amount of goals he scored in a season was 33, in which he only played 35 games that season, which is insane. So, and then even since then, he's joined Juventus. He's scored 53 goals in 75 games. He's scored in the Champions League final. He's won the Premier League 3 times. The FA Cup once, League Cup twice, Community Shield, Champions League, and Club World Cup. He's won La Liga twice, the Copa del Rey twice. He's won the Champions League 4 times with them. So in his whole career, he's won the Champions League 5 times. He's won the Club World Cup 4 times in total. He's won the Serie A and the Supercoppa Italia. He also won the European Championship, which is the Euros, and the National League in the last couple of years as well as having the 5 Ballon d'Ors that he already has. So hands down, he's up there as one of the best players ever. So he is in that 1 to 10. Next up is KDB, Kevin De Bruyne. He started the decade at Genk in Belgium, which he was only a young kid back then. He then later went on to Chelsea, where Chelsea just didn't see the use in youth players back then, players like Mo Salah and Lukaku back there as well. He was loaned out to Werder Bremen, where he played 33 games and scored 10 goals, which is very good for a midfielder. He signed for Wolfsburg in 18th of January 2014 for €22 million. And basically the rest is history. He just went and got better and better, playing 51 games and scoring 13 goals, to which then earned him his move to Manchester City for a fee of around €75 million, where he is a newer Fabregas. He's just so creative. He can see things from nothing. He's an absolute goal scorer. He works hard. And realistically, I do think he's one of the most underrated players in the world today. And yeah, what else is there to say about him? He's just class. So for me, he's up there in the... I'm gonna have to put him in the 21 to 30 for now, but he's subject to change. Next up is Argentinian Angel Di Maria. Di Maria started the decade at Real Madrid, where arguably that's where he was the best. He was such a good player back then. I mean, he's a half decent player now, but he just doesn't do it enough on a consistent basis, I don't think. He's a very good player. He's 32 years old now, and he had a very, very bad spell at Man United, where it was an absolute disaster. They signed him for £59.7 million, which was one of the most expensive transfers of all time. Well, it still is. He took the number 7 shirt, just like Cristiano Ronaldo had. I actually remember his debut was against Burnley. It was on BT, and it was subbed after 70 minutes. There was nothing, absolutely nothing. Then he forced his way to PSG for 44 million. So in theory, Man United made a loss of nearly 20 million. And France is an easy league if you're PSG. Don't get me wrong, he's a very good player. I don't think I see too much of him, but he's just one of those. There's just nothing special about him. So for me, he's also in the 41 to 50. Next is Diego Godin, the Uruguayan centre back, and he's got one of the best stories in football. Just reading here, he nearly died at the age of 4 after nearly drowning for catching a fish in a river. He's taken a while to get into his career, basically. He was like the heart of the defence in that 2013-2014 win in the league with Atletico Madrid. He's not quick, but he can read the game so well that he doesn't need. He's got positioning over speed, so he's such a smart defender. He's an absolute leader, and for me, for now he's got to be in the 21 to 30 as well. We've only got 4 more spaces left in the 21 to 30. Next is the French striker Antoine Griezmann. Now Antoine Griezmann actually started the decade at Real Sociedad as a winger. I remember just a little small bloke with blonde spiky hair. Who'd have thought that he would be the player he is today? Scoring 46 goals in 180 games for Real Sociedad before later moving to Atletico Madrid in 2014, playing 180 games and scoring 94 goals, which is brilliant for. He's not a physical player. He's not the Diego Simeone type of player. You know, you think Diego Costa, in terms of strikers, didn't happen for Martinez, striker Colombian. But Griezmann is just hard work. He's not hard work. He is hard work. He just grafts and grafts and grafts. And I actually think that his move to Barcelona was the wrong decision to make. I think he could have excelled a lot more at Atletico Madrid. Now at Barcelona, he just seems to be another player. But he's had a very good time, but I don't see much of him. And if I had to name top 20 strikers, Antoine Griezmann's not in it, unfortunately. So for me, he's 31 to 40. Now, this next one is going to be very controversial to a lot of people. Eden Hazard, Belgian winger, formerly of Chelsea and Lille. I'm not a big fan. On his day, he is 1 to 10, but that day doesn't come round often. That day comes once every 9 games, mostly against Liverpool. Looking at his stats here, he scored 85 goals in 245 games for Chelsea, which is a very good record, granted. But I don't get the hype. I really don't understand it. Like I said, on his day, he's incredible, but that day doesn't come around often. So I'm just gonna fear repeating myself. So for me, my personal opinion, I'm sticking him there, but loads of people would have him up in the top 30 at least. See, I don't want people shouting at me, so I'm gonna have to stick him there. Next up is Big Zlatan, 38-year-old now. Started the decade at Barcelona, which he was not a fan of. Later went on to play for AC Milan, Paris Saint-Germain, Man United, LA Galaxy, and then back at AC Milan. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is just a walking ego. And not ego as in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 ego. I mean, the man has so much charisma and so much athleticism for a man his size and his age. He is one of PSG's all-time top goal scorers, just behind Edinson Cavani. And he just has so much belief in himself. Obviously, he did score that overhead kick against England back in 2013. Yeah, he won. He was nominated for the Puskas Award that year. So for me, Ibra's got to be in the 11 to 20 because he just scores so many goals, and if you pick any striker in a way, you kind of got to pick him. So that is the end of part one of this tier list. I've gone very in depth of these players that I've chosen. I was hopefully going to get them all in one part, but I don't think you all want to sit here for an hour and a half listening to me talk about why I want to put players where. If you did like this part one, if I get 5 likes, then I will post the next one basically as soon as the 5 likes are there, I will post it. I've really enjoyed doing these at the moment. I mean, this is the first one I've done, and I do like going in depth about why I've picked players in which position, and I hope you do enjoy it. It's kind of like a podcast vibe. I quite like it. So again, if you do like this video, please like it. Get 5 likes, I'll put the next one up immediately, and please like and subscribe while you're there. And until then, I will see you next time.